I sit down and I talk to my oldest son especially, and I said, son, you just don't know where I'm coming from. When I talk about put your things away, or take care of what you earn, or take care of what's given to you, especially. When I talk about the government cheese and your story, especially they reminded me of it, you ought to see this look on his face. He just thinks I'm coming from Pluto or somewhere. I'm not qualified to talk about planetary objects, but I try to convey to him these stories, and all my children, that can help them navigate the path that I've already lived for them. How often do you tell me, those are your parents, if you just write your child's life down in a book, close it, and give it to them and say, just do everything on every page. You'll be all right. Then you realize that somebody told you the same thing and you ignored it. But it's those stories I want to talk about today. So first off, I need to acknowledge something. You have just fell victim to the TEDx bait and switch. I'm not going to talk about money, but I'm going to talk about wealth. I'm not going to talk about stocks or bonds, but I am going to talk about instruments that can be traded. Today I'm going to talk about my inheritance. Those stories that I tell my son, someone told me. So I'm going to make a simple promise to you. You're going to leave here richer than you did when you walked in. I'm not going to fill your wallet, but hopefully I'll fill your heart. I'm not going to make a deposit in your bank account, but maybe I can deposit something in your soul. And hopefully, between the time that I leave this stage and when I see you again, you've been able to deposit the same thing in somebody else's life. My dad talked to me in phrases. He was a simple guy. Second grade education, construction foreman, worked his whole life until rheumatoid arthritis separated his wrists from his hands. He couldn't lift a hammer, so he had to say goodbye. My mother, a housekeeper, virtually her entire life, 55 years, working for the same family. She graduated high school. She's poured all of her energy that she didn't give to us, she gave to a church, nourishing souls. So if you get a little preacher vibe going on, trust me, I was telling someone last night, I like drinking and cussing a little too much to follow in behind my mom, but one day I'll get it. But do something for me. If you're comfortable, close your eyes, but just go with me. Imagine that you're a 10-year-old black boy growing up in the Oak Cliff section of Dallas, Texas. I just described to you his mother and his father. Now imagine the love and the discipline that exists in at home, the nurturing, the caretaking, that runs right along parallel to what may be lacking in an education, what may be lacking in how many nights someone could sit with you and help you with your homework. Think about being asked to hang your clothes up so you can wear them tomorrow. Think about going to the grocery store to get your tennis shoes when someone else goes to the mall. Think about, and I know everyone in this room can speak to this, yeah, just because your brother wore it or your sister wore it doesn't mean it's not good enough for you. Imagine that. Now fast forward. You're 23. You're a young man. You're not fully grown, still a little stupid. That was me. And your father is nearing the end of his life. He lays there, he can't move, and he begins to think about, what is he going to leave his kids? He doesn't have the money. There is no legacy. There's no company to pass on. What he doesn't realize is that he's already made the deposits. It's those phrases. It's those moments of catching you when you're slipping and he puts some words in your ear. So I found myself well past 23 and well past the point that he was gone, speaking just like him. And my son would ask me, Dad, what's that so country? Why do you talk like that? Or folks that I work with would say, you need to write that down because it makes some kind of weird sense. So today, my time with you, I'm going to walk you through just a small collection of those things that have shaped me. Hopefully, at the end of my talk with you, you can take those deposits, take the lessons, learn from each of them, and be able to apply them in your life. The first one, let's see if you get it. Still Sal gets all the slop. Show of hands. Anybody heard that one? All right, I'm not alone. That was one of the strangest things I ever heard. First, I didn't know what a sow was, and I had to Google it the other day to figure out how to spell it. But what I was being taught was patience. Don't deviate from your course. Stay steady in your course. He would often apply this when I would come in, and I would have really drummed up support for one thing I wanted him to be my champion on. Dad, I want to play basketball. Go out there, and coach didn't put me on the team, and my basketball wouldn't dribble anymore. He wanted to teach me a lesson. A still Sal gets all the slop. Get back out there. Just dribble by yourself. Get ready. Go with your brother. Go on the weekend because you never know. Coach might call you back. You might have been that close to making the team. So that deposit today I apply in what I do in my role now. I'm often seen a little too patient, a little too forgiving, a little too slow. Why don't we have certain things in our business compared to somebody else? But with this lesson applied, it has never failed me. So I hope you can take something from that. Next, everyone hears this. Everyone has heard, prepare for war in times of peace. The lesson here was diligence. My dad had this thing. No matter where we were, or what was going on, or what you had planned in the day, you were not allowed to sleep past 7 o'clock. You would hear from the other side of the house, this 2-bedroom house, jaw the floor! His voice was heavier than mine. It would shake the walls of the house. Jaw the floor. What does that mean? He didn't care what you did as long as you swung your legs over and put them on the floor and started your day towards a routine. Look at the other pictures on the slide. Our U.S. military, why do they drill so much? Every day. I heard this story on the radio a few weeks ago. This guy was talking about the greatest lesson he ever learned was when he was in the Marines and he learned how to make his bed. It wasn't learning how to use a weapon. It wasn't learning how to use heavy machinery. It wasn't the skills of how to use the computers and the radars. It was making his bed. The simple preparations for your day soon will apply to your life. The old adage of success is the intersection of preparation and opportunity. If you're not ready for when something happens, who's to blame? Ourselves. A man finds something and he sticks with it. Now, full disclosure, he really meant this about my mom, okay? My dad could not stand if one of his 5 boys or any collection of us would walk in boasting about how many ladies we would know. That wasn't his thing. At the age of 16, he found his wife at a water well. Asked her, could I draw water for you, Virginia? He drew it, and they're still married today. That's the consistency. That's the steadiness of your decisions that he was trying to convey to me. And I think about the folks in this room in very, very disparate ways. A wide variety of diversity. Diversity of what you're experiencing right now. The steadiness and the resolve that you are deploying in your everyday life for yourselves, your families, your neighbors, your friends, your coworkers, your employees, of sticking with Livingston. You haven't left. You're back. You're in a trailer or not. You get up on a tough Saturday morning in a full rainstorm, you go down to Home Depot and you get those 2 sheets of sheetrock that you had enough money to get. And you get back at it. I was in line at the Walmart the other day, and I've watched the Walmart. It's not fully all the way back, right? It's full stock, but everyone's not fully, it's not buzzing. But I stood behind a family who was buying pots and pans, dish towels, something to hang the mops up with. I was like, okay, that's it. That's the steadiness. That's the resolve that is expressed every day in the citizens of this parish, the citizens of every city within this parish, and certainly with the people that are in this room. It's steadiness. That's the lesson learned. The deposit, a man finds something and he sticks with it. The lesson learned was steadiness. Show of hands. Anybody? Did I stump you? Stop thoughting. I thought Jimmy was going to take out the trash. I thought it would turn out different. I thought if I did this, then this would happen for me. I thought it was somebody else's job. I thought the government was going to come take care of me. For me, my flood experience, I thought by calling a number, the boat would come. Didn't. My dad was trying to teach me personal accountability and responsibility. If the outcome that you are experiencing is so profound that you begin to question, how did I get here? You got to ask yourself a question. What did I do to start it this way? Now, sometimes you just walk into a bad patch, right? Blindly. Sometimes maybe you're led. But in both of those scenarios, you had full sight and mind. You had the power of no at your disposal. So my dad would teach me, much like in this picture depicted here, in that moment where the decision has to be made, you have to make the commitment. Be accountable and be responsible for your words, your actions, your deeds. You still with me? Anybody? Yes. If you don't, you better. Who's heard it? Oh, right, there we go. There we go. Because I tell this at work and people don't get it. If you don't, you better. For me, I don't know how it was taught for you. It was taught for me in 2 ways. In a way by my mom and a way by my dad. And my mom, she would often sit in the living room. We had a rickety metal door, frame door. Everybody's got them, aluminum with the screen that's kind of hanging off the front of it. And it would go slap, slap, slap. That was the signal that your kids are going outside. Okay? And when it goes slap, 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 what does that mean? They're letting your air conditioning outside. So my mom would come in, if you don't, you better. Sit down or stay out. Pick one. Stop running up the light bill. Get out my pocket. I would often hear that. For my dad, it most often would come up, I'm heading out for school. Hey, son, what you got going on today? Oh, I got a math test. How you think you're going to do? I studied, I don't know. If you don't, you better. Hey, son, you going for that job up at Kroger? Yes, sir. Got your shirt? Yes, sir. You going to get it? I hope. If you don't, you better. Commitment and determination. Why would you ever allow a single, solitary kernel of energy to exist in your body that doubts yourself? Short of what may not be available to you by physics, I cannot jump and land in one of those black holes from this stage. It's not going to happen. But I can set my sights on a goal that I've measured and qualified, and I'll go get it. And don't allow myself to think otherwise. So if you don't, you better was a morning by morning refrain with my dad until we had to take him to the hospital. Have something to show for your money. Y'all still with me? You heard that one? It's not about things. It's not about wealth. It's not about possessions. It's not about the job you want, or the car that they have across the street, or the outfit you see on a celebrity on television. It's not about the money that you put towards Disney World. It's about what those 4 people, and not on this picture, is my daughter and my grandchild, but it's what is behind the smile. Put your money where your heart is. Put your money where your values are, and it's about your purpose. I'm not talking in every iteration, is it spiritual? Is it all about giving back? Don asked us to be mighty. I look at that picture of my family, and I have a mighty conviction. We talked about it last night. Could we possibly set something for our family that could go across generations, that every clan that's formed from mine out finds something and it sticks with it and passes it on? So could we get back to that same spot on that boulevard, take that picture with a family that goes further and further and further and further? Put your money where your values are. So, in conclusion, my inheritance is now my gift to you. I hope somewhere in there was something that made you laugh, probably made you scratch your head, probably didn't move me further from I don't know this guy, he's kind of weird, but maybe I'll help him change his tire in a rainstorm. I don't know where I land. But for me, ultimately, I wanted to make sure I talk about patience with you, diligence with you, accountability and responsibility, determination and purpose. Each of you, every day, are opening your eyes on God's world, and you are doing that in this parish. Jay talked about earlier, businesses leaving. I'm proud to say, we're coming here. I woke up every day since moving here in 2006 with a commitment to bring a coffee shop that you would actually like here. It's those types of things, those determinations that makes us as citizens of this parish very, very unique. It's a grit. It's a chutzpah. It's a shoe leather that I just don't see other places. It's in your faces, it's in your eyes, it's in your hands. Patience, diligence, accountability, responsibility, determination, and purpose. My dad reaches out to you from 73 years on this earth. A life distilled into 8 slides, 6 phrases, and 15 minutes. Not enough. Thank you for your time and attention. I hope what I said to you today helps build a better you, a better world, and a better Livingston. Thank you.